Okay, today we're going to take a look at how to change the cooling fan. It's an electric cooling fan for the AC condenser that's out in front by the engine. I'm going to apologize already for the shakiness of the video. My camera that's on a tripod is giving me an overheating signal, so something's wrong with that. Maybe I'll have to make a video how to fix the camera. So this is going to be recorded on my cell phone. Here we see the radiator in front, and in front of it is a, looks like either an oil cooler or transmission line cooler. This transmission line cooler down here at the bottom. It does have the tow package, so that may be the transmission line cooler, but off of to the side over here on the driver's side is the air condenser assembly. This gets cooled to make the air inside cooler, and it has a separate electric fan assembly down here, and the main engine gets cooled off of a fan clutch fan driven by the belts. Alright, so to give you the symptoms, the air conditioner stopped blowing cold. It was still blowing inside the cabin. When the truck would move a little bit, it seemed like it was getting a little bit cooler, but not the way that it used to be. So I hooked the gauges up to, well, first I popped the hood and I saw that the clutch, this is the air conditioning clutch here that drives the compressor, it was clicking on and off as if it was low on Freon. So I took the gauges and hooked it up to the air conditioning assembly. I guess that would have been a good thing to video. And it was showing very high pressure, which led me to believe that it was not low on Freon, but that in fact it wasn't cooling. That's when I noticed that this fan assembly was not spinning. So I checked all the fuses first and swapped out a relay just to rule out the relay. But the easiest way to do it probably from the start is to take a meter and set it to volts DC and check these two connections, and you should either get a power reading or no power reading. If you're getting no power reading, then your problem is somewhere else further back in the system, possibly electrical. But I was getting an electrical reading, a little bit over 13 volts. Engine was running at the time, so with the engine off you might get 12, but since the alternator was generating electricity, I was getting a little bit over 13, so I knew that I'm getting power here, but the fan was not spinning. Now be careful while you're doing that. If the fan were to kick, alright, just a note, be careful while you're checking this voltage or messing with any of this here, because if the fan were to suddenly kick on and your fingers were in there, you might lose a finger or two. Alright, it looks like there's a bolt here, could be 1/2 inch 9/16, and then a bolt hidden underneath here that attaches it to the top. Now I ordered the part from a local auto parts store that had free shipping. Here we can see that. I've already compared it to make sure that it's the right part. It has a slightly different connecting assembly, but it does have the spot for the bolt here and up top, and it looks as if the bottom just fits into a rubber grommet, so this should be relatively easy to change. I'm gonna go get some tools and I'll be back to take the old one out. Alright, bolt size is 1/2 inch, so I have a 1/2 inch socket. Now, notice that I just loosened the radiator. which was not what we wanted to loosen. We wanted to loosen this one. It's kind of early in the morning. Saturday morning. My ratchet's not cooperating. Alright, that was the right one. Now, the other one you can't see is on this side. I'm going to get that out, and then we'll remove the fan assembly. Should be pretty straightforward. Alright, you gotta love this. Upon further and closer inspection, I noticed that the way they have this designed, I would have to depressurize the AC system and then later on vacuum it and recharge it just to change this fan shroud. It's absolutely ridiculous design. The only explanation is that it's purposely designed to lead to higher repair bills, which is really disappointing. You know, I usually speak very highly of my Dodge and Dodge engineering, but I have to say I'm pretty disappointed here. This is totally unnecessary that I should have to depressurize the entire AC system to change a blower fan. So I'm attempting to get around that. I'm going to end up cutting this plastic away right here so that I've loosened the condenser now. I'm hoping I can get it far enough forwards to get the fan out from behind it, and then I'll have to modify this by cutting this flange out of the way, or this brace, so that I can slide this one in. Hopefully it'll work. I'm going to take it step by step so that I don't damage the new one until I'm sure I can get the old one out and swap them out. Alright, so I have outsmarted the engineers and managed to get the old fan assembly out. I was able to slightly maneuver the condenser out the front and gain enough room back here to remove the fan. Now hopefully, and here's the tricky part, it doesn't look like I did any damage to the condenser. At this point I have to say that this job is probably beyond what I would recommend for the regular average do-it-yourselfer, simply for the fact that it wouldn't take much to puncture this condenser. I actually need to go back and look on the video to see if I just caused this or if that was there. It looks like it's old, but I'll check the video later to see if I did that. Alright, so since I was able to get that piece out, I'm going to go ahead and cut this away because I'm fairly confident I can maneuver this new fan into position. First thing I'm going to do is kind of compare again the two parts. And they do look fairly comparable in size, so hopefully I won't have any problems getting it in there. Alright, and that's how a 30-minute job turns into 2 hours. And I guess that's why sometimes your mechanic repair bills end up being more than what you thought they were going to be. Alright, I put all 4 screws. You can see them here. There's 4, 2 on each side. Snug those back up to the condenser, which is that radiator looking thing in the front. Then I got everything situated. I put back in the 2 mounting screws. The 2 tips at the bottom are in their respective holes. Remember, if you do this, to take the old rubber grommets off of the broken fan and replace them onto the new ones. And then the second attachment bolt here, snug that up too. All we have to do now, move our tools out of the way, reconnect our electrical, close the fuse box, and if everything goes well, we should be getting nice cold air inside. So let's see what happens. Alright, truck is running, AC is off. New fan is not spinning. compressor is not on. Now let's go turn the system on. Fan is blowing. Compressor just kicked on. Very dangerous. You should never reach into your engine compartment. Alright, I'm feeling the low pressure line and it's cool, so that's a good sign. Let's go check our vents in the truck. Oh man, gotta tell you, there's only a few feelings that beat your car air conditioner on a hot day. Alright, well, we are back in business. If you got any questions or comments, leave them below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. This job ended up being a little bit harder than what I anticipated. If you're comfortable with what you saw, by all means, go ahead and give it a shot if this is a problem. Now, if you're working on a different vehicle, obviously, it might be put together in a more sensible manner. And most of the time fans and fan shrouds are easily changed with 2, maybe 4 connector bolts holding them in place. I didn't even anticipate that I might have the issues that I had today, so I didn't check to even see. So I was caught a little bit off guard, but I managed to improvise and get the new part installed, and I don't see that anything that I did, any of my modifications, compromised the design of the shroud. So it bewilders me that Dodge has left the replacement fans or that fan with that design and not modified it so that it could be removed without depressurizing the AC system. And I guess maybe it can. Maybe that's what they do at the Dodge dealership. They just don't want regular people like us knowing that that's how you replace it. So, alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.